The Magic School Bus and the Science Fair Expedition. In Miss Frizzle's class, we really needed help. We were working on projects for the science fair. The fair was only a few days away, but some of us had no idea what to do. I can't think of the science project. I can't either. I was going to do one on ants, but they got away. Then Arnold had a suggestion. We could get ideas at the new science museum. The museum was just around the corner. We could walk there instead of riding on our wacky old school bus. Bye-bye, bus. Without that crazy bus, Miss Frizzle can't take us on a crazy trip. Walk this way, children. Miss Frizzle led the way through the museum doors. Inside there were so many things to see and do. Class, this says that science is about testing ideas. Did she say we're having a test? Right here in the museum. Not to worry, she's just talking, I hope. Coming here was a great idea, Arnold. I could do a project on magnets. I could do one on bridges. But Miss Frizzle, we still don't have a project. Then we saw a big cardboard box. We could get our picture taken on it. We are climbing aboard. Uh-oh, someone found out about our bus. Relax, Arnold, it's just cardboard. Get your picture taken here. The photographer snapped the picture. His flash went on. Then, what you know it, Miss Frizzle flicked on the high beams. There was a big flash, and the cardboard bus started moving. We've been Frizzle again. It is safe to drive cardboard bus? I never thought I'd miss an old bus. We rolled out the wide entryway that led to show on great scientists. Isn't this wonderful, children? Says Miss Frizzle. We're going to learn how scientists work. What's the first thing you need to be a scientist? Curiosity. Science begins because people ask questions about the world. Inside, we saw life-size models of famous scientists in history. Our bus floated past the model of Copernicus. That's famous scientists said that planets, including our Earth, we're around the sun, said Miss Frizzle, but he could not prove that. In the time of Copernicus, most people thought that Earth was the center and the sun went around it. Today we know the sun is at the center. I thought it was the center of everything. We noticed that. As the bus came up to the model of Galileo, we got a big surprise. The model came to life. Galileo ran over, knocked on the door and shouted, I'm about to make an important discovery. I need my telescope. I need a ride home. My book says never to pick up hitchhikers unless they're famous dead scientists. The Frizzle opens the door and Galileo hop on. You're locked out, said Miss Frizzle. We were just leaving. There was a bit of flash and a bus jerked forward. Next stop, Italy. 400 years ago, chatted the Frizz for the driver's seat. I knew the nice boring trip wasn't too good to be true. Bus, do your stuff. The next thing we know, the bus has rolled up the front of the tall, narrow house. Galileo went in and came out with a telescope. Class, here we are in the city of Pisa in the year 1610. Wow, a whole city of pizza. She said pizza, Ralph. Not pizza. Almost 70 years have passed since Copernicus' death. But many people still believe the idea that Earth went around the sun. We think Copernicus was wrong. The Earth can't travel. If it did, the moon and the Earth would drift apart. I'll find evidence that the Earth moves. Evidence is something that can help prove an idea. Go for it, Galileo. People know that Jupiter and the other planets move. For thousands of years, they have seen them moving slowly across the sky. Since Galileo times, more Jupiter's moons have been seen. Today there are more than 60. I have to show that the Earth can move, said Galileo. That night he looked at the sky through his telescope. We got a chance to look too. We saw a big planet for 4 moons around it. The planet was Jupiter. I am the first person in the world to see moons going around the planets. I'm the second. I'm the third. I'm going to be the 20th. Galileo part of the evidence. Miss Frizzle told us Galileo discovered was important, class. It showed our Earth and Moon could move together around the sun. We have seen Jupiter move, and we have seen its moons, the planet and the moon, move together. That means our Earth and Moon move together too. Thank you, Galileo. Now we have to get moving ourselves. As we were driving away, we met someone standing in the road and staring into space. It was not the kind of staring into space Galileo did with his telescope. It was the kind that gets you run over by a cardboard bus. The man was Isaac Newton. Miss Frizzle, watch out for that man. Let's take him home. Isaac Newton, you are in the wrong time and place. Newton climbed aboard Miss Frizzle's flick on a bright and flash. The bus took off. In an instant, we were on a farm in England. Just like that, it was 55 years later. Newton stepped on the bus and sat under the apple tree. He's just sitting there. If he's such a big shot scientist should do the doing experiment, don't worry, class, he's thinking. Son, don't let those cows wandering off. An orbit is the path of the object like the Earth around another object like the sun. Miss Frizzle said Isaac was thinking about the Earth and the Moon. Thump! Isaac saw an apple fall off the tree. He said, I know that the apple was pulled by Earth's gravity. If gravity's pull can reach to the top of the tree, maybe it can reach as far as the moon. That's just silly. The planets and moons are not like apples. What happens in the sky has nothing to do with what happens on Earth. Now Newton began thinking about the sun and planets. He told us, the sun's gravity holds the planets and their moons in orbit. Keisha is like the Earth. The string is like gravity. The ball is like the moon. Gravity is the glue that holds the universe together. We better catch these cows. Newton is supposed to watching them. He can't, he's thinking too hard. Newton wanted to prove his idea. He was able to use math. Math is the language that scientists use to describe the universe. Class, Newton's math is very advanced. Someday I'll explain it to you, Miss Frizzle. You did a good job with the cows, Isaac. We think Newton and Paul into the bus. Miss Frizzle called for the driver's seat. Copernicus, Galileo, and Newton study something very big, the universe. Let's make scientists who study small things. She flickered her brights. In a flash, we were hauling. Here are some small tulips. Those wood shoes are pretty small. Oh, we're looking for things much smaller than that. We're going to see Antonia van Leeuwenhoek. Antonia van Leeuwenhoek? That shop over there must belong to him. How do you say Leeuwenhoek? We went into Leeuwenhoek's clock store. There he was in a window, peering into the odd little microscope. Leeuwenhoek's microscope doesn't look like the ones you usually see. His hairstyle doesn't look like the ones you usually see either. In Leeuwenhoek's day, men wore wigs of Arnold. Leeuwenhoek's microscope was so good that he saw things no one else could see. I'm looking at the drop of the water. I can see little animals swimming all around. Leeuwenhoek was the first to see these tiny living things. What is that and why is that important? Because after Leeuwenhoek's hook, a whole new scientist was studied. It was called microbiology. I'll spend 50 years looking at things, said Leeuwenhoek. I'm curious about everything. When he said everything, he really meant it. It could get kind of gross. I am scraping this soft white stuff from my teeth. Look, there are little animals in it. Ew! Hasn't ever heard of flossing? We're out of here, we yelled, and we raced the bus. Thank you, Antonia van Leeuwenhoek. You show us a world of tiny things all around us and in us. Thank you, Miss Frizzle. You helped us escape from that tiny and disgusting world. Miss Frizzle flashed the brights, and we landed to France. Hard! How can a cardboard bus get a flat tire? Is there a cardboard spare? Suddenly, a distinguished gentleman came by. May I be of help? He asked. Louis Pasteur, our teacher answered. I was hoping you'd come along. When the tire was fixed, Louis asked us to drive him home. Class, meet Louis Pasteur. He made modern medicine possible. He's making cardboard bus travel possible. What an amazing vehicle. We all got on the bus and Miss Frizzle drove us into farm country. It was beautiful, but many of the farm animals were sick and dying. These animals have a terrible disease called anthrax. Pasteur explained. I am going to work on it. Please take me to my laboratory in Paris. About 200 years have passed since Leeuwenhoek first looked at bacteria. Leeuwenhoek saw bacteria, but he didn't think they caused sickness. I think they can then want to prove it. To the lab. Class, isn't it wonderful how scientific knowledge grows over the years? In his lab, Pasteur explained, people don't know what causes anthrax. They do know if they take blood for the sick animal and inject it into a healthy one. The healthy animal will always get anthrax. Our experiment shows that blood from the animal with anthrax causes anthrax. Here's my hypothesis. The bacteria in the blood is what causes anthrax. You feel an experiment coming on. When got blood for the sick animal, we inject into a healthy animal. The healthy animal got sick. We decided the blood causes the disease. Pasteur carried out a great experiment. It proves that the bacteria cause anthrax. Once he knew that, he was able to make a vaccine that prevented the disease. Without a doubt, my experiment proved my hypothesis. Why is that important? Because if people know the real cause of sickness, they can try to find a cure. Is there a cure for weird teachers? I got a blooded animal that had anthrax. I took up the bacteria. I inject the bacteria only into a healthy lab animal. The animal got anthrax. This proves that the bacteria caused the disease. We filled out of Pasteur's lab and onto the bus. Miss Frizzle stepped on the gas, flicked on the brights, and flash. The bus went into action. When it stopped, we were still in Paris, but we were at another laboratory. It was 20 years later. Now we met Marie and Pierre Curie, said the Frizz. They were about to discover something exciting. We wear those suits to protect us from the danger rays in the Curies lab. Dangerous? Let's go back to the guy who scraped the gunk out of his teeth. The lab turned out to be woodshed. Man Curies staring a big pot over the fire. The stern was almost as big as she was. What's in the pot? We wondered. Madame Curie, we work on this little place because women are not allowed in the university labs. Well, it must have been hard to be a woman scientist in those days. Want to look in the pot? It's just mud, she said. That stuff is called pitch blondie, said Marie. I am trying to find a radioactive material in it. Marie's husband, Pierre, was a scientist, too. He became so interested in Marie's research that he gave us his own work and started helping her. Marie and Pierre Curie found a way to take the radioactive matter out of the pitch black. They found just a little bit of radio, but it helped Marie make a big discovery. Marie realized that radioactivity must come from inside the radium, said Pierre. Radium might be spitting out super tiny parts of the atoms, said Marie. When the atomic particles come out, energy comes out too. Today we know that too much radioactivity is harmful. But the Curies didn't know that Dorothy Ann read for her book. They didn't protect themselves. After a while, they became very sick. We waved goodbye and went outside. A passenger went sitting quietly at the very back of the cardboard bus. It was Albert Einstein, the most famous scientist ever. May I ride with you, Miss Frizzle? I have to get an appointment at the Walkerville Science Museum. Yes, Albert, we're going ourselves. Oh no, not another strange hairstyle. And Miss Frizzle flashed the lights, and the bus took off. As we travel, Einstein is about to work. Most people hadn't heard of the famous mathematical formula, E equals mc squared, he said, but many don't know what it means. The bus zoomed to the Science Museum, bumped up the steps, rolled through the doors, and stopped at Einstein's spotted exhibit. He stepped into place just in time. No one had missed him yet. Then our teacher drove out a photographer. Our pictures realized it was amazing. Everyone wasn't even a scientist. It must have been magic. Back at school, everyone got busy. We all had great questions asked, such as, how does making a compass? How does plants get water? And what patterns will be Miss Frizzle's dress tomorrow? One of the most important questions in Miss Frizzle's class is always, will we ever go on a normal school trip? The end.